Yeah, shall we start?
Yes, Swamiji, we can start.
Jananim Sharadam Devi Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranam Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukaswarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Dear devotees, so we had discussed three types of samadhi, two types of savikalpa samadhi and one type of nirvikalpa samadhi. Internal, these three belong to internal types. Now, after describing the author or explaining these three types of samadhis, he goes on to explain the three types of samadhi which is external in nature. I'm not sure whether any one of you tried practicing this. Definitely it will help, especially for an example, when mind is disturbed, terribly disturbed, or it has been thousands of thoughts are crossing over the mind. You feel you are unable to control them. You feel the state of helplessness. Even at that juncture, even at that state, if you can hold on to the witness, it may be a pseudo feeling then, it may be a feeling of superimposition then, no doubt. A strong superimposition, a strong conscious superimposition of the witness, if you can bring in your mind, definitely it helps to control many thoughts. Many times, this is a very simple but very profound statement which I am making. Many of us, we all keep on thinking about spiritual sadhana. We keep on thinking about how to understand self, how to understand God, all these things. But the saints, the spiritually realized people, they have told things in very simple manner. But though we hear, but we don't give our mind, we don't give our proper attention, and we don't try to put into practice. That's where we lag in spirituality or spiritual practices. So whatever the three types of samadhi we discussed, if not at least nirvikalpa samadhi, with savikalpa samadhi, if you can practice at some point of time every day, maybe 5-10 minutes or once in a while even, it gives tremendous concentration, tremendous proper understanding about the self. You'll be able to curb your restlessness of the mind, curb hundreds of thoughts which are crossing over the mind. And in the whole process, for example, you might have practiced for 10 minutes. Consciously for few seconds, you could feel that you are the witness and you are none of them. Even that itself gives terrible mental peace. And it gives a lot of strength to oneself. That is the power of the self. That is the power of thoughts, which is connected with the self. So probably, I request all of you at some point of time, you can try to put into practice these things. So there is no harm in it, whether you will be capable or not, but definitely it will have its own effect in our thinking, in our lifestyle, in our perceiving the truth, so on and so forth. Now, in the nirvikalpa samadhi, we saw that it is a effortless state. A single thought will be going on. The content is same, but so many thoughts are there, but it appears for a single thought because the content is same. Now, he explains by this concentration technique, based on the external world and its objects, how can practice concentration and how can we experience the Brahman? How can we experience the self? So how can we experience the self is what the goal of all the spiritual practices, Vedantic contemplation. This has to be kept in clearly in the mind. Rudhiva Bhaya Deshopi Yasmin kasmishcha vastuni samadhi radhya sanmatrat namarupa prutakrutihi. The first kind of samadhi is possible with the help of any external object as it is with the help of the internal object. In that samadhi or in this samadhi, the name and form are separated from what is pure existence. Again, this is a wonderful thought experiment which we can make and we can enjoy ourselves. Now, if you remember, in the Antardrishya Anuviddha Savikalpa Samadhi, the author asked us to do the thought meditation on thought. Like a single thought is going on in your mind, passing in your mind, just you start taking the role of the witness and observe the thought. You can make yourself experiment. What happens, the thought loses itself and it disintegrates itself in the mind or in the ocean or in the lake called mind or chitta. Sometimes we all feel, we have experienced that, oh Swamiji, that there is a terrible, there is a desire in me which is haunting me at all times. I feel it is too difficult or almost it is impossible to control my mind because of particular thought or because of particular desire. Then if you take the role of witness, sakshi, and if you can objectively, if you can start observing that a desire is nothing but again a thought. If you start observing it as a thought, then it ceases to exist at given point of time. It is a wonderful experiment, or it is one of the wonderful way to curb the mind. Then second, we also saw Antar Shabda Anuviddha Savikalpa Samadhi. Means trying to know who am I. When we say I am the witness, what is the nature of the witness? It is Satyam, it is Achalam, or it is Nityam, it is Kutastha, it is Sanatana. All these things which are based on Gita, Upanishads, the nature of the self it can be meditated. And once these two things consciously when we practice, willfully, consciously for a long time when it practice, when it becomes the part of a habit, when it goes to even to the subconscious mind also, to such an extent, the mind is filled with such type of positive and higher thoughts, then it becomes natural for us. That is what the author means, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So the Vedantic meditation or just a thought on the self, it becomes so natural for us. This we can see in the scientists also. They take one problem and they keep on contemplating on it. They keep on trying to search the truth. That's why it takes for a few years for them. Why? Because the mind has to get soaked completely in the thought and it has to search. And at some point of time, the mind will be able to get the answer. That is what we call invention or discovery. So the same thing can be applied or can be understood, even it is possible for us in the Vedantic way. Time and again, if you can start thinking that I am the self, I am the self, I am the self, it becomes. If you, for even 2-3 days or few days, if you can, how much of a time, if you practice, definitely you start getting dreams of Vedantic dreams. We get all different types of dreams. We all know that. Sometimes shouting on us, sometimes quarreling, sometimes going somewhere, fearing, enjoying, picnic dreams, so many types of different types of dreams we get it, and we can start getting Vedantic dreams. In the Vedantic dream, what you are seeing? Oh, Shantivratananda has come and he has given a class on Vedanta, Drik Drishya Viveka, and you are analyzing it. You are differentiating it between self and non-self. Why can't we try? Why can't we aspire for Vedantic dreams? Because we are anyhow living in the dream world. Now, in this Samadhi, that is Bahya Drishya Anuviddha Savikalpa Samadhi, what happens actually? We start shifting our focus from the object to the existence. This is the fundamental idea. So we are shifting our focus from the object to the existence itself, to the pure existence, to the bare existence itself. For an example, cliff is there, or maybe lake is there, or ocean is there. Ocean is there. Ocean exists. There is an Indian Ocean. Indian Ocean is there. Now, Indian Ocean, the moment when we hear the word called Indian Ocean, then immediately we get, there's a huge quantity of water. Huge means it is too huge. And there are a lot of waves. There are fishes, there are sharks, and so many types of animals, aquatic animals, all these things. So Indian Ocean consists of all these things, which we are all aware of it, which we can think, and which very well we can imagine. This is what the explanation, narration of the Indian Ocean. Now, Indian Ocean exists, or Indian Ocean is there. When I say, now the author is asking me to shift from the focus on Indian Ocean. Instead of that, you try to fix your thought or fix your attention, fix your focus on ease. Indian Ocean is there, no doubt. The ease existence, because of that existence, which is called Sat, the Indian Ocean is there. Cow is there. Goat is there. India is there. Indian Ocean is there. America is there. Flower is there. There are so many things. Is there. So what is that ease? That is called Sat. That is called existence. So hold on to this existence and start discriminating this. They are all Nama and Rupa, name and form. The so-called the manifested universe. The so-called the manifested universe is nothing but the name and form. Nama Rupatmaka Jagat, we tell in Sanskrit. The whole world is nothing but, the manifested world is nothing but the name and form. So Indian Ocean is a name, and the moment when we say Indian Ocean, there's a huge water body. It is a ocean, it is a huge water body. It has got a form also, name and form. Yes. So discriminate that name and form from the existence or existenceness and hold on to existence now. Cow is there. Cow is the name of an animal. Cow means immediately we have got 4 legs and tail and 2 horns and a particular form of an object, form of an animal we remember. So now discriminate the name and form and start thinking that cow exists. Cow is there means there is an existence behind this cow. So behind everything, behind every person, behind every animal, behind every thought, there is called ease. In double quotes, ease. IS means that is existence. That is what Sat. So the author is asking you to discriminate between the existence and the name and form and leave away or shift your focus from the name and form to the existence. So shifting your focus from gross to the subtle in other way. Shifting your focus from the manifested universe to the Brahman, which is called nothing but Satchit Ananda. Sat means Chit, Chit means Ananda. Both are, the three are inseparable. Then what happens? Then slowly, your mind starts getting into existence, and this name and forms are just an appearance. This we understand. Just for an example, you go to a fair jatra. Jatre in Kannada we say. You go there and you go to a particular shop. If you remember in the olden days, especially these fairs used to happen in the village sites. They used to have different stalls. In some of the stalls, they used to arrange different types of sugar sweetmeats. Sakre achal madirunta tumba idana hardirtare illa arrange madirtare. So like one is from some animals, some lambs, some birds, and huge arrangements will be done. It looks so beautiful, fantastic, different colors, different shapes, all these things. Then when the small children, they see, they get moved. The grown-up people, they say, oh, it's beautifully arranged. Some are animal shaped, some are bird shaped, some are tree shaped, some are lamp shaped, some are maybe triangle shaped. But the content is what? Sugar alone. The sugar alone is put in the particular form, and based on the form, based on the shape, we have got different names. So there are so many names, so many forms. Behind that, there's a one common thing, commonality, that is what? Sugar. The moment you remove the sugar, then all of them ceases to exist. Then hold on to sugar instead of hold on to that name and form. That's what the author is saying. Author is asking us to do it. Now, once you start discriminating between every object and the existence, then slowly, you will trans over from this manifested universe or from this gross universe to the subtle universe or to the source of the universe. That is what existence. Just like in the earlier time, practicing witness and understanding that there is a thought is crossing your mind, but you are the self, you are the awareness, you are the witness. Then what happens? That thought ceases to exist. Then once you start understanding that, okay, all are sweetmeats, different sweetmeats, but made up of sugar, that's all. Once you understand, then your approach towards them, it naturally changes. So understanding this reality is what very important for us. Though it looks very simple, okay, it is interesting, you think, but once we start practicing, it brings a lot of change in our outlook. And probably one more example. We went to film theater. And before starting a film, we were sitting and we were waiting for the film to be telecasted. Then there is a huge white cloth screen. Then after 5 or 10 minutes, then the film started. Through the projector, they are projecting the film. Yes, film started. So many types of sceneries came in the film. There is a fire accident. Then after some time, there is a huge rain. Then afterwards, there were clashes, there were fights, and there were everywhere blood spilled over. All these things we saw. And when we are seeing each time, our mind is reacting. When there's a fire accident, we know, oh my God, fire accident, so many people are dying, etc., etc. Your mind is getting agitated with particular type of feelings. Then there is a huge rain, floods. Oh my God, floods. People are getting carried over. They're struggling to exist. Fine. Then afterwards, there was a killing, so many, like for an example now, Israel and Gaza, there is a constant fight and hundreds of people are killed. So like that in the terror film, so people are killed everywhere, blood has been split over, bodies are teared apart. We are all seeing that, we are all feeling with the different emotions. Once this projection is over, the projection of the film over, the lights got on in the theater. Now you see there's the same white cloth screen. Before starting the film, the screen, whatever you saw. Now after watching the movie for 2.5 hours, now you see the same screen which is undisturbed, which is unaffected. There is no change on the screen. So much projection came. So many things came, so many things went. We were all moved by the different type of, because of the sceneries. So much, sometimes we might have cried, sometimes we might have terrified, sometimes we were angry, sometimes we were happy. So many feelings came because seeing the projections. And afterwards you see now, there's only the same screen. Before projection and after projection also, there is the same screen. Now, this is a common phenomenon, which is, we know every one of us, we are very well aware of it. For that, you need not to come to Vedanta class. But once you start thinking, the same thing is in our life also. Just like there is a person who projected the film, and we are as a watchers, we sat and we watched the movie and we enjoyed, we felt unhappy, we felt morose, we felt angry, all these things. And the projection stopped, and again nothing. Same, back to pavilion. Similarly, our mind is projecting this world, projecting the ideas, projecting the views, projecting the feelings, projecting the expressions, and we are experiencing all these things. And the moment if you start understanding, oh my dear, it is a film, it is just a projection, but it is not. It is only appearance. The moment when you understand, things may not change. The film may be going on, you will be witnessing it, you will be observing it, you will be witnessing it, but you will not be moved by it. Why? Because it is a film. So similarly, when you are experiencing, there is the possible difficultest thing. Oh my God, there is a problem in my life, Swamiji, you don't understand. Yes, even at that juncture, one can practice Drik Drishya Viveka. That's what we can see in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita started where? In the battlefield. At any time, any arrow can come and pierce them. At that time, highest philosophy they discussed. This is the greatness of the Vedanta, uniqueness of the Vedanta. So when you start discriminating between the world and the self or the existence of Sat, then what happens? Hold on to Sat, then the superimposition called Namarupatmaka Jagat, the manifested universe, ceases to exist or it loses its value. That is what is important for all of us. So he is asking to shift our focus from the manifested universe, that is the name and form, to the existence itself. In the earlier things, if you see, he is asking us to hold on to the Chit part. In the earlier 3 types of meditation, in the internal 3 types of meditation we discussed, there the author is asking us to hold on to the Chit part actually. That is awareness. Now he is asking us to hold on to the Sat part externally because it is external. Earlier it was internal, so he asked us to hold on to the Chit part of the self or the Brahman or the consciousness. Now he is asking us to hold on to the existence part of the consciousness or of the self or the Brahman or Atman. That is what Sat. Now Sat, Chit, Ananda, all the 3 are one and the same. One cannot be separated from another. And if one is existing, other 2 also exist. That also we have to understand. Now, we came to know how, based on the drishyas, Bahya Shabda, Bahya Drishya, how one can meditate. When you see an ocean, you see, so the ocean has got a name and it has got a form, but the water alone is true. So similarly, Sat, water exists, ocean exists, that existence alone is true, and all these are manifested universe is what? It is an appearance. It is only projection. So the reality part, the existence part, the real part is actually on the Sat, not on this manifested universe, that is Namarupatmaka Jagat. You keep on discriminating, then your mind travels from what to so what. What? It so happened like this. So what? It is not that you will become insensible. It is not that you will become inert. It is not that you will become very bland like a stone like. No. You will transcend all these things. You will be compassionate. Or anyone will be compassionate, anyone will be feelings and all will be there, no doubt, but they will not be moved. That's what we can see the life of Ramana, Aurobindo, or Sri Ramakrishna, or Vivekananda. Even Vivekananda was jailed during his itinerant monk because of some people, they came to know, by seeing him, they came to know that he's one of the best celibate. By sacrificing him, they can get a lot of siddhis, occult powers. So he was jailed, he was prisoned actually. But he never cried, he never lamented, he never started thinking what will happen and all. He kept quiet. He understood the situation, grabbed the situation, he kept quiet. One small boy came to give the food. And whatever the Swami Vivekananda spoke, he didn't understand. The student, whatever the boy spoke, the child, young boy, he didn't understand. Then he saw a piece of earthen pot. There he wrote, just you give to the king saying that I am in a problem, I am present in such and such a place, can you help me? In a very small, in letters, he wrote this and he gave this small earthen pot and he said, you give to the king. At least fortunately, boy understood that. He went and he gave that a small earthen pot of peace to the king somehow he managed himself to give that to the king. Then the king came to know that there's a monk who is in problem, he has been imprisoned or whatever. Then he sent his soldiers, then they came, and Swami Vivekananda was released. So like this, every one of us, we face a lot of problems, but we are moved away from these problems. But once we can hold on to the self, then problems may come and may go. We'll be able to handle them and we'll be able to go further. That is the efficacy of this Vedantic practice. Now, second type of Savikalpa Samadhi, based on sound. Antar Shabda Anuvidya Savikalpa Samadhi is practiced. How can be practiced based on the external world is seen in the 28th verse. Let us see. Akandaika rasam vastu Satchidananda Lakshanam iti avachinna chinteyam samadhir madhyamo bhavet. The entity which is always of the same nature and unlimited by time and space, which is characterized by consciousness, existence and bliss, is verily Brahman. Such uninterrupted reflection is called the intermediate observation, that is Savikalpa Samadhi associated with the sound. Now just we will try to go into the details, then you will understand. So it is an external type of concentration, which is in a second type of external concentration. In the first stage, or in the first type of external type of meditation, what did you do? Or what did you try to do? You tried to segregate the name and form from the existence. So the first stage, we segregated the name and form from the pure existence. Then we asked you to shift yourself from the name and form to the existence itself. Shift your focus, shift your attention from the name and form to the existence itself, we said. Then now, the author is telling that now you separated from the name and form and existence. Now you start focusing on the existence part. What is that? Existence is not a part. It is not a part of the body. It is not a part of the product. For example, this hand is a part of my body. The head is a part of the body. The legs of the table is part of the leg, but the existence is not part of any object. Existence is not the product of any person. Existence is not the part of anything. So existence is not a part. It is never the object. It is the subject always. But every person's and everything's existence depends on this existence itself. And existenceness is not a product. This body, physical body, is the product of the 5 elements. The wooden table is the product of the wood. The chocolate is made up of some products. Upma is the product of so many things. Whatever we eat, breakfast, upma, chida upma, whatever. So it is a product of things, but the existence is not the product of anything. And similarly, there is the decomposition. The body decomposes when it is declared died. So one is the nature of this body is decomposing. The changing, eternally this body is continuously changing. Sometimes we are aware, sometimes we are not aware. So these are the different properties, nature of the object called body, physical body. But existence is free from all these changes. Existence is not the property. Existence doesn't undergo any change. It doesn't have any qualities. It is pure existence. That is the nature of the self. So like this, we keep on focusing on the existence, and we can keep on meditating and contemplating on the existence itself. Just like we know different branches of knowledge. Geometry is a branch of knowledge. Philosophy is a branch of knowledge. Calculus is a branch of knowledge. We all study. But there is a called epistemology, which is one school of philosophy. There we try to know or study what is the knowledge in itself. What is knowledge? How do you define the knowledge? What is the nature of the true knowledge? What is the nature of the false knowledge? So we are not discussing about the branches of the knowledge. We try to discuss what is knowledge. It's a beautiful a school of philosophy or beautiful understanding. It is a very interesting part also. Sometimes people feel it is too technical, but it is a wonderful subject in itself. So similarly, here we are trying to know the existence itself. He exists, it exists, she exists. We are not bothered. We are bothered or we are concerned about only on the existence itself. This is what the difference between objects and on the existence itself. So going beyond the duality and holding on to the true self, or holding on to the bare awareness or bare existence. This is what we have to understand. In Chandogya Upanishad, they say that in the beginning, there was only one thing, not the two things. And what is that only one thing? That was existence alone. Sat alone was there. And afterwards, it thought, let me become many. So that's why many individuals, many objects, and this dual universe, we see that. So like that, there are so many things out there. And this existence is indivisible. The ocean, if you see strictly, Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, and Indian Ocean, it is a one complete water body. Based on the area, it has been named three names: Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, or Indian Ocean. That's all. But otherwise, it is completely only one single water body, actually. There is no between gap at all. There is no wall even in between them. There are no compartmentalization at all. But still we call three, but actually there is only one thing. So similarly, existence or existence is only one. It cannot be divided. It is indivisible. And existence is all-pervasive. There is no place where existence cannot exist. There is a divide of existence. There is no place. There can be no place. So it is all-pervasive. And it is the base, or it is the substratum for everything to exist. It is the main substratum. It is the root substratum. It is the cause for everything's existence. The existence of everything depends on this existence itself. That is a sat. So this type of meditation is called Antar Shabda Anuvidda Savikalpa Samadhi. Means I am that existence, I am that Sat. What is that nature of the Sat? It is indivisible, it is not the product of anything, it is not the product of, or it is not decomposable, or it is not limited, it is all pervasive. So the nature of the Sat can be meditated in the second type of Savikalpa Samadhi. So when these two types of meditation, one is based on the Drishya and the other is on Shabda, when it is consciously, willfully practiced for a long time, then what happens? Your mind gets soaked with this type of Vedantic thoughts. See, mind is like a container. For example, if you have filled a juice in your water drum, if it's orange juice, when you open the tap, then you get orange juice. Or if you have filled the drum with the watermelon juice, when you open the tap, you will get the watermelon juice. If you fill the drum with the trash or with the bad water or water from the gutter, when you open the tap, then you will get the gutter water only. So similarly, whatever you fill your mind, that's what it comes out. So if you keep on filling your mind with Vedantic thoughts time and again, then what happens? These Vedantic thoughts start flowing. That's what happens in this Vipassana meditation now. When you go to Zen meditation, Vipassana meditation for 10 days, for every day, 6 to 8, 10 hours, you sit and you enjoy the heaven in the paradise. You say that, oh, Swamiji, what a beautiful. After coming back in 2-3 days, back to pavilion again. Why? Because there, with interest or without interest, with choice or without choice, you were forced with force or with willingly, you practiced alone. What is that? The one particular thought you practiced for a long time. And you didn't bother anything, no mobile, no connection with the world. So you are forced to concentrate your mind in a particular way. Then what happened? You enjoyed it. Whoever practiced that course, I mean to say. Then once you come back to the world, then what happens? Again, you are distracted, you are handling with so many problems, you have to handle responsibilities and all these things. So the same meditation you cannot do. Why? Again, you are feeling so many things with your mind. Now, the 10 days, whatever you did, if after coming at least daily 1 or 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, as much as possible, if you keep on doing in due course of time, when your mind is, major portion of the mind is filled with the Vedantic thoughts, then this Vedantic meditation, which becomes natural for you. For example, there are sadhaka samang. I've seen couple of, recently I had, yesterday only I came back from London. In one of the devotees' house I had stayed. So both of them were doctors. They were terribly busy. Morning to evening, they had to work. They had to take the children. Whoever in the West, they all know that in India, at least you will get a maid to clean your house, to wash your clothes, to wash the utensils and all. There, how much ever you are, mostly you have to clean you have to cook yourself, you have to clean, you have to do all things. They were doing all these things. And they came from India and they settled here. So they had to purchase a house, they have to make all, and their children are taken care, and they have settled now. But they could have practiced still medicine. They said enough. And they stopped that profession, and morning they get up at 7 around. And 2 to 3 hours, they don't do anything, just finish their ablutions, and 3 hours simply they sit for japa and meditation. Then afterwards, we'll have some cup of coffee or tea or milk and some fruits, and do household work, and again something reading and studies, or if any work is there, going marketing and coming back. Then again continue to study and have a little nap or rest. Then again hearing some lectures, reading some books, doing some japa. Then 2-3 o'clock lunch, and then do some household works, and again 5-6 o'clock, again 2-3 hours they sit for japa meditation. Then 7-7:30, light supper they do. And again 8 to 11:30, again they sit for japa, meditation, some studies or whatever. I was so impressed, just like whatever we hear in our Vedas, Vanaprastha Ashrama, what Vanaprastha Ashramin should do after once your job, responsibilities are over, just they were doing that. And when I was there with 3-4 days, they were talking about spirituality, about religion, about Sri Ramakrishna, Sharda Devi, or some senior monks. That's all. Nothing else they spoke. So, because their mind is soaked with this type of spiritual thoughts. And the lady doctor who is 75 now, imagine, she's not even small, is 75. She does all her works, and she does meditation of so many hours. And she has got a heavy low back pain. She can't even bend. With that health issues, she is able to sit for 5 to 6 to 8 hours every day for japa meditation. And she used to say, she was saying when I asked, even once I got into this ashrama, from young age, even when I was working, I came here as a doctor and I started working. 5 days I had to work badly, no doubt. Saturday I used to reserve my time mostly to clean my house and do extra work. And Sunday, nothing doing. Morning, simply after my breakfast, or lunch or whatever, I used to rush to ashram, 35 miles. That comes around 50 to 60 kilometers. And she says that almost every Sunday I used to go, because I had reserved that day, the Sunday, for ashrama. So she was doing work. She had to take care of her children. She did all the financial responsibilities she took, family responsibilities she took, professional responsibilities she took. And she had met people, all these things. But she said, every Sunday I had kept reserved for ashrama, and I used to spend a lot of hours in the ashrama talking with swamis and meditating, studying, hearing, discussing all these things. That's why now also I can meditate. And now we say, oh, Swamiji, we are householders, we don't have time, we are very busy. But you see, in her case, it was possible because mere strong will or desire for this. So once we have got this intense desire for spirituality, intense desire for self-realization, intense desire for God realization, all these things are possible. So initially you have to do willfully, consciously, with a gut feeling, with a strong willpower. You may have to practice. You may have to do all these things, facing a lot of difficulties. And I mean, jokingly says, sometimes I had to quarrel with my husband. Why? He said, no, there is some work. We have to go to party. We have to go to some people. How can you go? I said, nothing doing. Sunday is my time. I have to go to ashrama. Don't disturb me. And once she was saying that, it seems, if you disturb me, I'll go to solicitor and demand my privacy. I mean, on the lighter side, I'm saying that. So she never compromised with her convictions. So this is what we need for spiritual life. This is what we need if you are a sincere student for Vedanta. So she didn't forgo her family responsibilities or professional responsibilities. She did all these things, but she got time to practice meditation and spiritual practices then and now also. So because she had practiced for so many years, and even this old age, with all that physical limitations, she's able to spend for 6 to 8 hours minimum with the japa meditation, apart from studies or reading books or whatever. So once you practice with this willfully, then it becomes a natural and normal practice for all of us. That's what in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which happens. So what is that? And that one Nirvikalpa Samadhi, what happens actually? Once you practice consciously, it becomes so natural. Stabdi bhavo rasasvadat trutiyaha purvavanmataha yetaihi samadhibihi shadbi nayet kalam nirantaram. The insensibility of the mind to external objects as before, on account of the experience of the bliss, is designated as the third kind of samadhi. The practitioner should uninterruptedly spend his time in these 6 kinds of samadhi. So uninterrupted practice is required. So when he's go on practicing this Vedantic thought, Vedantic discrimination, then what happens? Then Akandakara Vritti has been developed in him. When this Akandakara Vritti develops in his mind, it removes the ignorance, it destroys the ignorance, and he is able to experience that Aham Asmi Brahma, I am that Brahman. One who deliberately, consciously, willfully practices, then at some point of time, given point of time, is in his mind, there is a one thought called Akandakara Vritti is developed. Once that is developed, with the help of this Akandakara Vritti, the Ajnana is removed. Once the Ajnana is removed, then what happens? The light alone remains. So this is what the wonderful thing. So you need some technical understanding for this Akandakara Vritti and understanding. I will try to discuss in the next class. Thank you. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Yeah, any question?
Yeah, this so in terms of a practice mechanism, right? The earlier one was, at least what we had to do was reasonably clear. In this, when we say that we have to remove, when you're looking at different objects, and we only have to imagine or think of the existence of those objects, just the existence principle, and remove the name and form, what is the thought process? How do we, ultimately we have to use some thoughts to this. How do we, because existence principle is not a object, right? So we can't imagine an existence principle. How do you actually?
Yes, it's a wonderful question. Yeah, I understand. Like for an example, now when we are seeing things, we are always obsessed with the things. You see a particular object, you are obsessed with the object. When I say when you are obsessed with the object, you are obsessed with the name and form, that's all. Isn't it? So when you see a table, beautiful teakwood table, you said, oh, Swamiji, you see, there's a beautiful teakwood table. Fine, no doubt. The teakwood table is wonderful, it is so nice, it is very elegant. Fine. Then what I asked is, okay, teakwood table exists. Fine. The existence depends on the wood. You remove the wood, the teakwood table ceases to exist. So the existenceness of the teakwood table depends on the wood. So actually wood exists in the different form. isn't it? Again, now you say that wood exists. I ask you to go back, then what happens? It is nothing but the molecules. You remove the molecules or atoms, then wood ceases to exist. That means the existence depends on the molecules or the atoms. Then you go for energy, then you come to self. So then the Sat or the existence, because of the self called Satchidananda Sat, because of that Sat itself, the whole thing is existing. So you shift yourself, you shift your focus, attention from the table, from the wood, from the table to the wood, from the wood to the atoms and molecules, from the atoms and molecules to the energy, from the energy to the existence at all, existence alone. Existence, as you said, it is not an object, it is a imagination, it is a subject or whatever. Yes. So because of that self exists, because of that self, all these things are existing. So hold on to that existence-ness. So initially, when you start thinking, definitely it is a thought. You cannot separate it physically, as we all know that here. It is only a mental process. It is a cognitive process, intellectual cognitive process it is. So you are trying to hold on to the self, which is Sat or is, exists, and existence, pure existence, on which the whole thing is existing. So we are asking to shift your focus from the manifested universe, or on the world, or on the objects, to the existence. So initially, when we start thinking, the existence will be sort of gray area, dark gray area. Some hallucination or some imaginations will be there. Okay, it is like something light. Okay, it is something like that, some darkness, or it is something like that, some power. Some concepts, because we need some name and form, isn't it? So we are bound to hold on to this name and form. So fine, that is fine. So hold on to that, some imagination on the existence, but only you stick on to that existence imagination and shift your focus. This is what happens. And when you go to second type of meditation, existence is not a part of it, existence is not a product, etc., then the nature of the existence, still it becomes clear for you. Whatever the some imaginations were there about existence itself also will get cleared off. And you will get a clear picture.
So if I were to, I mean, just as a first step, if I were to say that remaining in the realm of objects itself, everything is made up of atoms, and there is proton, neutron, the basic atoms that are there in everything. So if I were to, even without going up to the existence principle, I can, if I were to progressively think that the name and form is not relevant, anyway, it's all made up of common elements, right? And progressively imagine further down and say this is all existence principle, and then say that there is no property, no, it's indivisible. Is that the...
Yes, you are right. You are right.
And why is the second one called Shabda, Swamiji? It's a bit, there is no voice in that, no? It's just
Shabda means, again, it is a technical way, it is a technical meaning. So Shabda means immediately we say sound. So there is no sound here, isn't it? Here, Shabda means generally in Kannada, in language, Shabda means sound. So yeah, here Shabda means it is actually word. So we have to explain the existence. So explanation of the existence is what happens in the second type of meditation. Like it is indivisible. Existence is indivisible. So the indivisible, whatever the word you say, either you word or the sound, when we utter the word indivisible, you hear the sound. And technically speaking, it is a word actually here. Shabda means it is a word. Because the meaning has to be associated with the word only, isn't it? The concept or the meaning has to be associated with the word. Without word, the meaning or the associated things cannot be grasped from our sense organs. We need words. So that's how we is saying. It is not a sound actually, it is a word actually. Shabda means there. Which describes the nature of the existence.
In the first ones, what you had suggested was to, I think, if I remember right, it is an internal thought process. You are not looking at the existence, so you're closing your eyes, and you're going through the consciousness principle, the witness. Here, is it an open-eyed kind of process, or it's again a mental process?
See, it is a mental process in both the things. It's a mental process, no doubt. When you say in the first type of meditation, so there are thoughts are coming. Even with the open eye also you can practice, no doubt. There, because it is a thought, it is inside. It is a thought, it is inside. So when a thought is coming, you start practicing as a witness. You are the witness and you are witnessing or experiencing a thought. Okay. Now, in the second type of this external meditation, what happens? Even with the open eye, close eye. For example, you saw a particular object. Once you saw the object, then you say, oh, the object has got a name and object has got a form. It is only appearance. It is a projection of the mind. But the real thing is what? Existence. So when you see any object, you can keep on discriminating. Or otherwise, just to practice this meditation, you close your room, there's a pitch darkness, and you close your eyes, and you, take a particular an object and you keep on sizzling out, discriminate between the name and form and between the name and form and its existence. It can be practiced also. The second one is external in nature, they say. The beauty of it, the Vedantic meditation also can be practiced with open eyes.
And the second one is, in a way,
generally we sit in a right posture without shaking your body and with a closed eyes and all we say. In this external type of meditation, you can, with open eyes, living in the world, working in the world, you can practice.
You can essentially use it against any object. You don't have to limit itself to your thoughts, right? You're essentially looking at external objects and that itself will give rise to the thoughts.
Yes, but only the word of caution I would like to give here, you have to carefully start. If you take a particular object and if you start practicing meditation, you should avoid either a particular object which you like most or the object which you hate most. There is a chance of carrying over by your emotions, by your feelings. So there's a word of caution. So you should not take the object for your meditation, at least initially, which you like most or which you hate most. Say for an example, some of us, we like chocolate. Black chocolate. If you take, okay, because I like the black chocolate and I start discriminating with the black chocolate, the more or less will be carried over by desires, by our own coloring of the mind. Yeah.
But the principle is, it is just the same. It's all, there is nothing other than existence in that chocolate, right. Even if I were to check it.
Yes, you are right.
Anybody else with any other questions?
Any other questions? I think everyone has gone deeply to the Vedantic meditation now.